so long is like alchemy.
All right, I'm late on this one, y'all. You can hear in my voice, your boy was out late, family in town, went bowling, had a bit of fun. But I did catch the game, unfortunately. Durant, the early turnover, and look at him speed ahead. This is what he's going to need to do in this current state of Warrior basketball. That bring it down slow and set up stuff, we don't have the talent to compete that way. So he rushed the ball down court and drew the foul. And the Thunder defensively and athletically are at the top of the food chain in the NBA. The early run and seal, Damian Jones absolutely got his lunch eaten by Steven Adams in this game. Clay, that's just tough, right? They've got length and athleticism everywhere. They make you change the angles on your passes and the trajectory on your shot. Another tough one from Clay. But watching the Warriors in this current state, honestly, the more I see it, the more I understand why Clay and KD continue to chuck. They're just not getting any type of help. And I was watching this, Russ, just one game off returning from his ankle injury. How big is Russell Westbrook? Because he looks damn near as big as Klay Thompson at 6'7". You see, again, just overactive in the passing lanes. And this was interesting to see. I can't remember ever seeing Russ lay up a ball, right? He always goes for the big spike. It lets you know where he's at physically right now. KD, tough finish on the other side of the rim. This is the most inconsistent call I think that we get with not the benefit of the doubt against, is that shoulder charge push-off call. You're CKD asking the ref about it, right? But yet it's called against us multiple times a game. And here we go. Steven Adams, look, I'm going to hold it right here. The help is to the middle, but yet Damian is guarding him and giving him the baseline. So what does he do? Spins, and it's an easy finish. And it's just a lack of IQ, frankly. KD did shoot 5 threes, and he was 1 of 5. But I'm just encouraged that he's starting to take them again, honestly. It may take him some time to, find it. But what I didn't like was, look, there needs to be a second effort here. Damian doesn't make a second effort. You've got to be an effort guy when your skills are this low in the league. You've got to give more effort. And I thought it was magnified by the fact that OKC was giving so much effort. Clay, and it's funny, and this is tough, man. I like this player Ferguson for them. OKC, there were some casualties of war as this game went on, and this was the first one in young Tony Ferguson, who's had a breakout season playing the 3-and-D role. He rolls the ankle, and I just think it's interesting. You never see Clay kind of do that cheap stuff, right? But he's having to result to that, right, given the state of the offense. Without a doubt, KD's still the worst ball watcher. Look at him let Grant slide in here, and then Quinn Cook tries to help, but the contest, he might as well not even have put his hand up, right? I ask you this, when's the last time you saw this? A nice pull-up, clean elbow jumper without a bunch of hands in Durant's face. It's been at least a week. Here he is again, getting caught watching the ball. Grant has been a Warrior killer. These athletes just active, cutting, moving, and their effort level, like I had said, was just much higher than ours to start the game. I think we all anticipated this. Teams smell blood in the water against us. Clay, I thought they should have exploited Schroeder on the defensive end more because he killed us so much offensively. They needed to go back at him because he's not a great defender, and Russ was completely off. Again, this was his second game back off the ankle injury. We dodged some bullets early in this first quarter, honestly. It was, you see the effort here, but they weren't exactly knocking down shots. It was sloppy both ways, so we dodged bullets, and it kind of kept us in the game because they weren't knocking shots down. But look at Russ limping here. And, big picture for OKC, they lose 2 young key players in this game, and Westbrook moving forward just looks all sorts of banged up. So big picture, as good as OKC's been playing, the 2 youngsters are going to miss significant time. And then is Westbrook going to give them 70 games this season? Father Time's undefeated. We know his playing style isn't going to lend itself to longevity. I talked about dodging bullets. You can see everybody was cold. Look at the score of the game with under 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. Let's talk a little more about Durant and his turnovers. They were doubling him at times, and it was a combination of things because I think Paul George leads the league in steals. He was matched up with them, right? Their length, their overactivity, and then the passiveness of our guys not really wanting to catch the ball doesn't help either. KD absolutely made some predetermined reads as you see Clay knock one down, but he wasn't getting any favors from his teammates, honestly. There's Clay pull up 3 in transition, and I guess one of the silver linings was Clay was definitely more efficient on this night. I haven't even checked the numbers, but my eyes told me as much. As you see, who on the offensive glass. Clay gets a second look and knocks it down. Tie game here early in the second quarter. But take a look at the bench, man. Take a look at Steph dripping in some black ice here. Everybody's out of character. Steph's wearing chains. Clay's shooting off the bounce. We're not playing defense. Oh, there's a little. Looney with the block. Here we go out in transition. And this was impressive. This is not easy to do. Backpedaling to the corner and knocks the 3 down. Clearly the kid can shoot. I'll talk a little more about the rest of his game later. And here was another casualty of war as it's Nerlens Noel gets busted open. I didn't even know he wore goggles. And, you know, I don't know what the concussion protocol is in the NBA. I know they have to have one, but he looked wobbly. I was surprised that he re-entered the game later. Now Damian Lee showing off the dribble floater. And you know what's weird? You watched his layup and that floater and some of the things he's doing. He clearly has been working out with Steph. Jerebko, he's become a fan favorite quickly. You could see the arena gasped when he had the open look. Everybody wants it for him, and it's easy to see why. His effort level and fearlessness off the bench, the new fan favorite bench guy. Clay tells the referees, keep that same energy, right? The same play that you see Russ and Paul George do all the time. He gets called for the offensive foul. I had mentioned Damian Lee being a little bit heavy and out of shape, and this is where you see it, right? Look, he can't really get to the ball. He misses the easy lay-in, and that's where he's just heavy. He needs to be lighter to be more athletic, but the shooting stroke is clearly there, and this has really been the difference. See, that's a walk-up contest three. Watch the three that OKC gets out of it. They push and they work it inside out. It's a much different percentage and look when it's generated that way. Quinn has started to get more comfortable and figured out ways to finish in the paint, but really it was a rough night for Quinn. He struggled against their length and athleticism, and Schroeder wherever he wanted on the floor against him. And you would have hoped Quinn, being the small little guy, would have been able to stay in front of him a little better. That wasn't the case. Damian Jones, it's just weak, bro. That's supposed to be a handoff into KD's hands. He let the ball go, and then you're going to see him give up an and one on a soft contest, and he hangs his head. Damian Jones, man. Here's a little alchemy detail of the game. When you have a very athletic, overactive defender, watch the jab step. Watch the usage of that. See, he overreacts because he's so quick. He usually is rewarded for it, and he can recover. So when you have a guy all in your face, smothering you, they're really quick, you know they're going to bite on the jab step. Look at the spacing on this shot. All four of those guys, within 7 or 8 feet of each other? Obviously, Damian had a rough one, and this is right here where you've got to suck up the space. Be a little more confident with the damn ball in your hands. Look at them gapping him. He tries to throw it over the top. It's just a terrible turnover. And I'm really tired of watching Damian Jones play basketball. I am. I don't want to be the Grinch here on Thanksgiving, but he was just terrible. And look at Boogie. He always has something to say to Damian out of a timeout. I think, his face says it all as well. Disgusted with the young center. Talking about Durant's turnovers, it wasn't all on his teammates, right? He made some poor choices too. I hold the ball here because he needs to take a glance. You can see all the help in the paint. They've got 4 defenders in the paint waiting for him. That's where you have to understand, all right, I'm kicking either to the corner or to Lee. Instead, he elevates and gets blocked from behind from young Diallo, pushes, nice little reverse finish from PG, looking much more bouncy than he was in the summer. And so Looney, in a similar situation as Damian Jones, took it upon himself to make a play. That's what I'm not saying it's always going to work out, but Damian just freezing with the ball that far from the basket, it's just unacceptable. It's hard to play him heavy minutes. KD and other just pull up. At least it looks like it's somewhat in rhythm. And then you're going to see Damian Lee gets the offensive call, and the slam of the ball from Durant. His frustration started to boil through here at the end of this half. Not sure why they weren't fouling or wrapping up Steven Adams around the basket. If I recall, he doesn't shoot free throws well, but they continue to let him get baskets. KD finally knocks a 3-ball down in rhythm to start the third quarter, and they came out with a little pep in their step. They didn't just roll over. And here, Damian learning, understanding where the help's coming from, doesn't let him spin back baseline and gets the block. I guess the positive to take away from this game was both Durant and Thompson were much more efficient in their ISOs, in their chucking. And like I said, I'm kind of changing my mind about them being selfish and we need to get back to passing the ball. Just looking at like the rest of the roster right now, I just don't know if we can do that. Like, I kind of get more why they're chucking Iguodala looking like an old man finishing at the cup. And that's the thing with Steven Adams. If you double him, he's not a quick decision maker. He's not really adept at making a quick pass. And so it was good to see them make that adjustment as they put up some fight here. They did. As I watched Russ continue to have one of those off nights, I kept thinking, like, man, in the past, he would have shot us into the game. But to his credit, he let Schroeder kind of dominate and do his thing because he was getting what he wanted. Clay, that's deep. Finally, a little life at Oracle. I don't know if you guys caught Peter Gruber over to the left with E40 and some other people. He was in that camo jacket looking like someone's embarrassing pops. Damian Jones, the big block, and then they started to knock the 3 down. Paul George, I understand this call. You got to call that. That's wild because you see all the touch calls on shot releases, and then that's not called. It makes you shake your head. KD, rhythm, pull up. No, sir. What do you guys think psychologically this is doing to Durant? Is this making him have further appreciation for his all-star teammates, right? Or is it, I don't know. You would think it would, right? There's the extra pass, Quinn knocks it down, and they hung around here. They had life. You never got the feeling that we really stood a chance in this. I don't know about y'all, but that's how I felt. There's Clay's fourth foul. He's got to just let that go and hope that Damian can make a play at the rim. This action at the top with Steph looks so much different, right? Rather than Quinn, right? They just switched and handled it perfectly, and then Durant with just an awful off-balance jumper. One thing I think that could be viewed as a positive is you watch Iguodala, who's been finishing above the rim. And so in years past, it's looked like his body was falling apart, right? Right now, it just looks like he's just disinterested. But when he does have the opportunity to rise, he is, and he looks pretty healthy. Damian Lee, 13 points, 26 minutes. Here's a little change-up move from KD. Watch the behind the back. Skirt! Gets himself some separation. I love that. I saw him working that all summer at Rico Hines. He hasn't really broke it out. Look at KD looking at Iguodala. Iguodala doesn't want the ball, right? Doesn't even look back at him, so he drops it off to Lee, who takes a deep three ball. Paul George is the caliber of shooter where if he starts off cold, you know eventually he's going to end hot. He's one of those elite type shooters, and that's what happened in this game is he answered and brought the lead to double digits, kick out. And then this is what impressed me, because that's the key. It's one thing to be able to hit the three, but if they run you off the line, what else do you got? Lee showing he's got the one dribble pulley. Schroeder, though, just played amazing. He was the best player on the floor all night, 3 of 3 from downtown, getting it anywhere he wanted. Now take a look at where Looney is on the floor here. This is what I want to see. Now they closed out on him, but he still generated himself a shot. And if he can spread to the corner and pump that open look, not every team's going to close out on him like that. That's what I would like to see moving forward to give our offense some more space. More Schroeder doing whatever he wants. Livingston absolutely got abused. But I mean, to be fair, I guess he abused every guard we had. And there was Sean's first basket of the night, 11:30 in the fourth quarter. Just wanted to let y'all know about that. Clay, 27, 4, and 3 in only 30 minutes. And you know what it makes me think? If Clay was on a bad team, to start his career, I think he would look a lot more like Devin Booker as far as like just off the bounce and being more dynamic, because you're seeing how much better he's getting at it in just such little time. More shooter, just annihilating the defense as they were keeping us at arm's length throughout this fourth quarter. What do you have? 32 points, 5 of 6 from downtown. And like I said, to Westbrook's credit, they let him kind of do his thing, where in the past you would see Russ just continue to dominate the ball, and it was Schroeder's night, man. There was nothing, we had no answer for it. With that type of elite speed, there's not a whole lot you can do. They were gapping him, and he was still getting where he wanted. Jerebko struggles against athletic teams, right? He doesn't have enough time. He doesn't get comfortable enough to get his shot off, and then this happens. I'm not going to show it to y'all again. His leg got rolled up under. Jerebko landed on him. And that is Diallo, the rookie from Kentucky. And it was ugly, man. It was an ugly scene. Honestly, I thought, I don't know why, I thought it was Paul George, and I was like, good God, no. So I was a little relieved in that, but then you hate to see a kid who's hasn't really made his money. And you can see it shook up everybody. It shook up everybody in the arena, in particular Paul George, right? And honestly, after that play, the game was over. The game was over. And to see him get, stretch it out like that, I do not have an update on him. It looks like a season-ending injury, right? You just hope that it's not career-ending. And he's a super bouncy athlete, and so it's just one of those moments, man. But like I said, after that, it was already about a double-digit lead in the game. The lead expanded, and it turned into garbage ball. Portland Friday night, Sacramento, who is no joke anymore. This, I hate to say it, y'all, but I don't see this losing streak ending until we get the chef back in the kitchen. I realize I have a lot of supporters and patrons that aren't, in the States and aren't necessarily American, so Thanksgiving, doesn't really apply. But I still want to take the time to give my gratitude and my thanks to all of you for allowing me to do this every day, man, to do what I love. And really give me the courage to do it. Not only just the financial support and ability to do it, but, the feedback and your guys' support and ladies' support really gives me the courage and the energy to keep pushing through. And it lets me know that, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. So very grateful and thankful for that. I hope y'all have a happy Thanksgiving. I'm going to probably hit a live pregame for this Friday night Portland one. This is humbling, right? I'm out, y'all.
so long as like